This afternoon, we welcome you to Spring Training Baseball, Grapefruit League Baseball 2012 from Charlotte County, Florida. From Charlotte Sports Park, the Tampa Bay Rays play host to the Boston Red Sox. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball where the rest is Destrada. I'm Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard, and we have a treat in store here today. 22-year-old left-hander Matt Moore, and after seeing him in September and the start he made in the postseason last year, hard to believe that this is his first Major League spring training camp.
Isn't it? But you know what? This is one of his most important spring training appearances right now. It's a big one for him, a big one for the brain trust, I think, of the Tampa Bay Rays. Think about it. Andrew Friedman, Joe Madden, the manager, and the pitching coach, Jim Hickey, have to make a big decision if this kid's going to stick in the five-man rotation or go down to the minor league. So a big start. We're expecting big things for the kid.
Well, the Rays are optimistic this year. One of the reasons, the pitching staff, and one of the further reasons they're optimistic about that pitching staff is the guy who will be behind the plate in this game this afternoon, the oldest player in camp, Jose Molina.
I'm sure he's not wanting to hear that he's the oldest player in camp, but you know what? The big bear, as I call him, Jose Molina, has done a fantastic job throughout his career at manipulating and being able to make pitchers better. So I think Joe Madden, when I talked about him, he said the first thing he told me about Jose Molina, I'm glad we got him early, got him out of the way, and they signed him because of the fact that he knew that he needed a quality veteran catcher. This guy's been involved in 2 World Series, one prominently in 09 with the Yankees. So you need that presence, and one of the things to look for is his width, his body, the way that he frames, I think is going to be great for these young pitchers.
We have a gorgeous day, beautiful setting here in Charlotte County. The Rays and the Red Sox just around the corner. Back with the starting lineups in the first pitch in a moment.
I've been growing.
Great deals on the amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. Scattered white clouds overhead as the Rays and the Red Sox meet for the second time this spring. Let's take a look at the Boston lineup. They'll have the shortstop, Mike Aviles, leading off, followed by Nick Punto coming over. He's at second base, hitting second, coming over from the National League. Cody Ross is in right. Jared Saltalamacchia will do the catching. He'll then clean up. The DH is Josh Kroger. Mauro Gomez is at first. Jason Repko patrols center field. Nate Spears at third. Alex Hassan is in left field. He'll bat ninth with Matt Moore on the hill for the Rays.
The young kid, Matt Moore, power fastball from the left side, power curveball also. Pretty much a two-pitch pitcher. He will mix in a little bit of a changeup, but the impressive part is the high fastball he throws, his control with his curveball. I think he's fantastic, and he needs a fantastic start to make this staff, Dwayne.
Well, here's Aviles stepping in. The shortstop shortens on the bat, and he takes the pitch a little wide, a ball and no strikes. Red Sox trying to settle in on the shortstop position. Right back at Moore, and that is out number 1. Take a look at the defensive setup for the Rays behind Matt Moore. Around the infield, Longoria, Keppinger on the left side. Right side, Zobrist and Pena. And in the outfield, left to right, Jennings, Fold, and Joyce. Molina doing the catching. And here's Nick Punto, the veteran infielder. He can play all over the place. And the first pitch is a strike to him. Punto last year with the Cardinals. And Moore quickly ahead of him. 2 strikes.
Got a lot of guys like Punto in the lineup here today for Boston. Aviles and Punto, and you look at Repko also, kind of those guys that are multi-dimensional, not big boppers, but good baseball players.
And it's up just a bit. 1 and 2. Yeah, you've got to have those kind of players for depth and versatility, and that's something the Rays are very familiar with. That's part of the Joe Madden approach to building a baseball team. Short right, coming in is Joyce. Punto is out number 2.
Joyce was playing him real shallow there. That's why he was able to easily catch that ball. Didn't have to do one of his MJ dives there. He got a good jump on it. He's dealing with that the risk issue, but I think we're going to have an acrobatic outfield out there this year.
Well, there's Cody Ross. The pitch to him is a strike. Off speed, a little break to that one. 2.
That's what he's looking for. He's looking for a lot of command, show the control, show the poise. You mentioned that this is really his only, first big league camp, but we saw what he could do last year as far as devastating the league. So this kid is fantastic, and there's a little bit of that changeup that he shows, but mostly is the overpowering fastball, usually around 94 to 98 at times, and he can move it around, Dwayne.
Yeah, we saw just a little bit of that changeup last year, but not much.
No, he needs to mix it in. The league will learn real quick.
Bounces this one in, takes the count to 2-2. Early in the spring, Moore had that slight abdominal issue, but that's a thing of the past. Making his second spring outing here against the Red Sox.
The first spring outing was very, very good.
It's out of play, and so the count holds at 2-2.
And how much does he remind you? You can go back and kind of think of a David Price back in 08 in spring training and kind of leading up to what he's done. Does this kid, you think of him?
Well, their introduction to the major leagues similar. I mean, they were right into the pressure cooker.
Playoff baseball, basically. I mean, he came up and pitched a little bit, had a couple of great games in September, but then smartly, Joe Madden and Jim Hickey decided to throw him to the Wolves in postseason.
3-2 and a high fly ball hit deep to left. Jennings will go to the fence. The wind is blowing out, and that ball is gone. Cody Ross got that one up into the breeze, and he hits it to the backside of the bullpen. His second home run of the spring. And Boston takes a 1-0 lead.
Watching the guys take BP today, a lot of balls were flying out to left. The wind's blowing hard from left center over to the left field foul pole. Fastball out over the plate. Cody knew it. The little flip of the bat there. And you know what? Again, those solo home runs in spring training you can deal with. It's making sure you come back and get the next guy.
Well, there's Santalamacchia. Pitch is upstairs. Santalamacchia, the switch hitting catcher, with 16 home runs last year, and good part of his power comes from the left side. A 1-1 count to him. One and two. Boston coming in 8-4 on the spring. The Rays are 4-9. And right by him, Saltalamacchia overpowered by the fastball. And so we have completed the top half of the first. Boston 1, Rays coming in to hit. Do the catching, hitting eighth, and Sam Fold is in center field, batting ninth.
And on the mound, you got the young vet now. He's been around a little bit already. Clay Buchholz, tall, lanky righty, exceptional fastball, plus curve, and plus changeup. For him, is really mostly mental when he can get them all three together. But he's got sensational, electric stuff with a mix of a fastball, curveball, and a very, very good change.
The defensive setup behind him. In the outfield and left, Hassan, center Repko, and Ross in right. Spears and Avila's on the left side at third and short. Punto second. Gomez at first, and Saltalamacchia does the catching for Buchholz. This afternoon's Rays game presented in high definition, brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Desmond Jennings ready to lead it off for the Rays, hitting .353 for the spring. He's back in there and feeling fine after the collision a few days ago in left center field with B.J. Upton. There's the strike. Upton not in the lineup today. Tomorrow's an off day, and Upton said he thinks he could play on Tuesday and would even be willing to make the road trip over to Jupiter. So we'll see. It'll be probably Tuesday or Wednesday before BJ is back.
Could have been a lot worse. I mean, from all inclinations, they crashed pretty hard. And remember, this kid Jennings is a former football player, built like a safety at about a good 215. BJ, I mean, soaking wet, probably about 185. So it was a little more painful for BJ when I talked to him about it the other day. He's like, he's a big boy, man. I'm the one that got most of it.
0-2 the count here to Desmond. It's going to be interesting, to see what Joe Madden does with this lineup. There's talk of Jennings and then Upton. Luke Scott's in the number 2 spot today, and Scott says he doesn't mind hitting second either. They do have some legitimate flexibility with how he could construct a lineup.
They really do. I mean, and in past years, even last year, with a lot of the problems they had scoring, especially at home, Joe had to jumble the lineup. Joe likes to jumble lineups and keep people fresh. But this year, I think it'll be a lineup mixing up here and there that I think will be conducive to their whoever they're facing for real and how aggressive they can be with that lineup, including with BJ in the number 2 hole. Remember last year, towards the end of the season, he hit number 2 about 23 games, hit 357, at about a 375 on base average. So he really, I think, took to that number 2 spot, hitting behind Jennings, literally trying to hit behind Jennings and go the other way instead of trying to drop and drive.
Jennings a little piece of that one. And Desmond, out of that leadoff spot, as he is doing here, showed a great ability to see a number of pitches and work counts. And that's what you want that leadoff guy to do.
And walk. He actually has a good amount of walks last year in his short stint. I like his the way that he works a pitcher.
Into right, Ross cutting toward the line and makes the grab. So Desmond lines to right field to start the Rays' offensive side of things.
Good at bat though for Desmond. Got a chance to see Clay Buchholz. And remember, Clay Buchholz is a guy that he personally maybe hasn't seen that often. So this is an important thing for him to get as many pitches, see the curveball, fastball, see a little bit of everything of Clay Buchholz.
Well, here's Luke Scott, and with him up there, Bobby Valentine decides to put the shift on, and he sends his third baseman Spears all the way from third into short right field. He wants the shortstop on the left side of the infield, and there's a bunt by Scott. He puts it right down and has himself a base hit. So Scott says, okay, you want to put the shift on? I had a home run yesterday. I'll put down the bunt single today.
And you know why that's important right now, March 18th, is because Bobby's going to be trying to be creative and doing not only a shift, but I'm going to move my third baseman to right center. Luke bunts now, and it's like saying, okay, remember this in the season if you're going to try it on me again, because I'm going to show you right now in spring training that I can do this. If he fails in doing that, then Bobby probably maintains that during the season. We'll see what happens come the 18 games we got to play him or so.
And here's Ben Zobrist. Well, one thing for sure in the season series with Valentine in the Boston dugout, Zobrist down to first, Gomez to second, one back to first, 3-6-3 on the double play. I'm going to say it'll be fun to watch these two managers, Madden and Valentine, go at it during the regular season. Through 1-0 Boston. With you, and also joining us today is Barry LeBrock. He'll be the Fox Studio pre- and post-game host And Barry is with us today. Barry, welcome.
Well, I appreciate the welcome, Dwayne. We're going to have a lot of fun this year. We're covering the Rays in a big, big way. We'll have 150 games for you here on Sun Sports. But this year, we'll have pregame shows for you, half hour before the game starts, post-game shows right after the game, all your player information coming to you no matter where the Rays are playing, whether they're on the road, at home, East Coast, West Coast. It doesn't really matter. Orestes Estrada, of course, will be with me in studio. You know about Orestes, his big league career and all his baseball knowledge. He'll be dropping that on you. Also, along with being informative, of course, we're going to try to be as entertaining as we can. We're going to have a lot of fun this year. And we're going to want the fans to join in as well, whatever your social media preference is, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or just email us. We want to hear from you during the games. Let us know what you're thinking. If you have any kind of comments or questions for either the broadcasters or the players, or just, a funny crack or a clever comment, we will include you in our broadcast. 150 we're doing. We're in mid-March right now. We'll take you through the end of September. It's going to be a lot of fun on Sun Sports.
All right, Barry, thank you. Kroger gets hold of a 2-0 pitch, and he drills this one into the Rays bullpen. That baby's gone. The designated hitter, Josh Kroger, picks up the second Boston hit. Both have been home runs, and the Red Sox lead 2-0. Kroger's first home run of the spring. And here's a look at that pitch.
Lefty-lefty matchup, fastball all over the place. Pretty much in the same place that he left the fastball to Cody Ross in. And that was a real pretty swing right there. And Matt's got to be moving that ball out of the middle of the zone.
Here's Gomez, the first baseman. Takes the pitch down, a ball and no strikes. So the Red Sox, who've hit now 12 home runs this spring, they've given up only one. There's a little tap by the mound, and Zobrist at second handles that.
Now that's a stat for you. You've popped 12, they've only given up one.
Yeah, how about that?
In this Grapefruit League that you know better than anybody, Dwayne, that some days, I mean, they're not even legit home runs, though both of those balls were hit pretty well, especially the one by Kroger. But you could have some cheapy home runs in the Grapefruit League every now and then.
Well, that wind starts to blow out, but the wind had nothing to do with Kroger's home run. He hit it well. Repko takes this one for a ball off the mid of Molina. You can see the wind blowing out toward the left field corner. That's how the game started. And it will at times whip around and become variable.
It really does, especially in baseball when there's different levels. If the ball gets up into the jet stream, and it might look like it's going sideways, but it'll lift it out. So
2 balls and a strike.
There's a changeup again there, Dwayne, that he's definitely working on this spring to add to his repertoire. I compared him very favorably, similarly to Buchholz, who's throwing for Boston. Good fastball, curveball, but Buchholz has showed dominance with that changeup, and that's really set him apart, I think, to becoming a quality third, fourth starter in the major leagues.
Big cut there on the 3-1 pitch. Repko looking for a 3-1 fastball. He got one and fouled it straight back. Well, there's Bobby Valentine taking over as the manager of the Boston Red Sox this year. And a swing and a miss and another fastball. So Moore, falling behind, comes right back to strike out Repko using the hard stuff.
And that's where the changeup, even though those other ones that he threw earlier weren't that great, but it sets up this right here. Look at the spot. Look at Molina setting up that spotting right there in the outside corner. And with the oomph that double nickel here has in Matt Moore, you really can't catch up with it. And if you have a little bit of that changeup in the back of your head, it speeds that fastball up.
Nate Spears, the left-handed hitting infielder. No ball and no strikes. One and one.
Looked like the curveball there on the inside part. Kind of hung it a little bit. I spoke with Bobby a lot before the game on the field. In fact, he came up to me and right away. Didn't even talk to me in English. It was all Japanese. So we had a nice little conversation in Japanese for a little bit.
And there the strike, and it's 1-2. And of course, you two have that in common. You playing over there, and
he was managing.
Bobby managed, and you are very familiar with the job he did there.
Oh my goodness, he did a great job with the Lotte Marines, a team that was perennially in last place in my years there. And then when he came in, he turned them around completely. He really did. In fact, that was a team that had the late Hideki Arabu, and I think he was an influence on Hideki of making him a better pitcher at the time. And oh yeah, there's
Tom Foley. He can strike up a conversation.
He mixes it up with me.
Pop fly that will carry to Jennings and left, and that retires the side. Homer by Kroger. Bottom of the second coming up. 2-0 Boston.
Help, I need somebody.
That starts Friday afternoon, and on Sunday, April 8th, the first 10,000 kids 14 and under receive a Raymond cowbell presented by Chick-fil-A. Purchase your seats today. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Good crowd here this afternoon. A packed house for the Rays and the Red Sox.
Well, you got Red Sox fans not that far down the road there, so they'll sneak up here and catch a game.
Yeah, they have a new spring ballpark in Fort Myers. This is the second of 4 games played between these two clubs this spring. Boston won the first game 5-0 in Fort Myers. Here's Evan Longoria. Carlos Pena will be next, and then Jeff Keppinger. Evan 0 for 9 on the spring, goes after the first one and pops it back foul for a strike.
Hasn't seen much action. Obviously, he had the wrist injury when he got nailed there in that inner squad, and that slowed him down a bit. But thankfully, again, it was not that serious. I'm not worried. I don't think anybody would be if he has, doesn't put up some real big numbers in spring training. Who cares? He looks in a real good physical condition right now.
Yeah, he showed up leaner this year by design.
Yes.
He's behind in the count 0-2. And the Rays have had what you could call those ticky-tack sort of injuries here in the first half of the spring. And they're hoping they get all of those out of the way and then start the season with a full and clean bill of health. A ball, 2 strikes.
And spring will do that to you because, you work out like a monster in the offseason, but there's no comparison to the everyday grind and the little things you're going to do and some of the nuances of the working out and the things that they ask of you that you think you are and sometimes you're not ready. And you just tweak your body is kind of it's a weird type of thing because I remember some springs, man, I'd come in, I'd have a personal trainer that would train me all winter long. And those first couple of weeks, it seemed like I'd have something that's a little bit naggy. And then you just kind of work right through it. And as you get into really mid-April, your body kind of cements somehow. It's a weird thing into the season. And I'm talking about, not having a major injury.
2-2. Well, Evan would hope to avoid the physical challenges that he had a year ago that early in the year really prevented him from being the hitter that he is. And we saw about the last close to 100 games how good he was when he approached health.
He sure did. I mean, throughout the whole season, his average of RBIs per game was at a .75 clip.
Yep.
So he averaged almost an RBI a game that he played. And if you're, extrapolate that out to 150 games or so, that's 130, 140 RBIs.
Yeah,
that's
in the
where he was at.
mid-140s.
Yeah, we're talking, old school. We haven't seen those since Mattingly back in the day. It's just not many guys that really drive in more than 120, 130 runs anymore.
And that's a foul ball.
They're making Buchholz work a little bit. I like that. I like what Jennings did. I'm liking what Elo is doing right here. Some of the best at-bats you can have in spring training at this point right now, it doesn't matter if you get an out or not. It's how you're approaching different types of pitches.
There's a shot deep to left field, and that ball gets out of here. Backside of the bullpen, and that's going to make it a 2-1 ball game. Well, Longoria picks up his first hit of the spring. It's a home run, line toward the bullpen. So some fireworks early off the bats in this game.
Well, I just said it doesn't matter if you get a hit or not. You want to get good approaches, but it's always nice if you can add to it and have a line drive home run after the whole at bat was a very positive experience for him. The whole at bat, he fouled off some tough pitches, got to see curveballs, changeup, fastball. And then one thing that we know, Dwayne, about him, you can't sneak a fastball inside of this kid. He is always quick enough to get the hands through. And look at the smile. He's happy. He goes, hey, I got me one. I'm on the board.
Well, and that goes hand in hand with what you were saying about extending an at-bat, having a good at-bat, and you top it off with a good solid line drive over the fence and left. It just doesn't get much better than that. Here's Pena with a big cut, strike one. Carlos got his first hit of the spring, and with the count of 1 strike, there goes Spears, the third baseman, hustling over into short right again.
It's like they're calling an audible here out there.
Yep.
The quarterback's kind of lifting the leg and going, okay, Blue, get over there.
And Carlos calls time. Well, when he uses that shift, more likely than not, it's going to be something like that where if Euclid is playing third, they'll move him to the right side, keep the shortstop. There's a bunt attempt by Pena. I was wondering if he was going to try to do that.
This is the time to practice it. I mean, there's no doubt. He doesn't have the prowess at bunting that we know Luke Scott already is showing and shown, but why not? I mean, we're not worried about can Carlos hit the ball over the fence. And here we go. He kind of jabbed at it, Dwayne, as opposed to Lou, who kind of really, Luke.
That pitch is down, even with 2 strikes. Pena's showing the bunt.
See, but here's the difference. I'd be opposite here. If I'm Carlos, I just go ahead and get my at-bat in. Because they're definitely going to use this on him during the season. I mean, every team pretty much does. Even though you may want to try to practice it here, with Luke it's different. I think Luke is trying to set a mode and going, don't do this to me because I really will bunt on you, and I'm good at it.
And Pena is out on strikes. So that's the first out. Well, that's one of the things that a manager wants to do with a hitter, to get playing with his mind a little bit when he puts that shift out there. And I think
That was a wasted at bat.
That
right.
was part of the gamesmanship there, and you're right. It's an at bat that you'd rather you'd like to have a do-over.
Yeah, I mean, albeit it's a spring at bat, but you know, at this point right now, that should be not the thing that he really should be worried about working on. While Luke is kind of like that little ball player kind of type guy that can do that on you.
Jeff Keppinger looks at a strike. Keppinger playing shortstop. Foul ball off his foot. 0-2. We talked about this the other day in regard to Keppinger. Joe Madden happy to have him on both sides of the baseball as a hitter, a right-handed bat in that lineup, and defensively. He has great versatility on both sides. You could even see him play first base.
Sure.
During the regular season. He's played there a handful of times in his career. And that's one of the things that really appealed to him about getting a chance to play a little bit more, because Madden wouldn't be afraid to use him in a number of positions and get that right-handed bat in there as often as possible. He's out pitcher first now.
No, and he's a very talented hitter, especially against lefties. So I like his bat, and it can also break up what is three lefties that we're going to definitely be seeing almost every day in the lineup with Joyce, Luke Scott, and Pena. So you can mix them in there and break it up a little bit against some quality lefties. You'll definitely be seeing them. Here's one of those lefties right here. It really showed that he was here hopefully to stay with a breakout season against lefties. I think that what he showed against lefties last year was very important.
Matt takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. Matt with a couple of spring home runs. He's facing Clay Buchholz here. Buchholz 27. He was limited to just 14 starts with back issues. It really became a difficult problem for him in June last year. 1-2.
And that issue I'm going to attest to, because I've lived it, I played with it, is a stress fracture in your spine, and I still have it to this day. It really kind of doesn't heal up or go away. You can just strengthen around your spine. It's a very bothersome thing. And all you can do is I mean, there's a bunch of different isometric exercises that try to strengthen that area, because your spine, just whenever you kind of damage it like that or anything, it just goes right through and knots up. So it's not a neurological issue. It's really more of a muscular issue.
Buchholz 2-2 with Joyce. Out to second, and right there is Punto, who makes the play. So that takes care of the Rays in the second. They get a run on the home run off the bat of Evan Longoria. We've gone through two, and it's 2-1 Boston. 22-year-old left-hander Matt Moore on the mound for the Rays. He's in the low 30s in pitch count. Took care of that comeback line drive off the bat of Mike Aviles in the first. Picked up a strikeout of Jared Saltalamacchia. And he'd given up a couple of solo shots. Cody Ross got him for one in the first. Josh Kroger got him for one in the second inning. Matt making his second outing of the spring. He pitched an inning and 2/3. That was 5 days ago against Baltimore. And he picked up 3 strikeouts and gave up a walk. Alex Hassan. Pitch is too low to him. Here's the Red Sox left fielder today. Two and nothing. Top of the order, Aviles, and then Punto next. There's a strike. 2-1. Right-hander Sanchez starts to loosen in the bullpen for the Rays. There he is. And it's down 3-1. Again, more because of that abdominal soreness early. Just a little behind the other starting pitchers in terms of being extended. He's walked the leadoff man, and now he faces Aviles. Molina to the mound to spend a little time with Moore, and that also gives Sanchez a little extra time. Romulo Sanchez, we saw him pitch in the game here the other day. That was the game against the Phillies here. There's a strike. Home run by Ross in the first, Kroger a homer in the second, and Longoria homered for the Rays in their half of the second. Another pitch up. Fastball around 93, and Aviles trying to check on it. Fouled it back 0-2. Stop by Molina. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No Moore last year started at Double-A. He was in the minor league camp here a year ago. Began the season at Montgomery and then up to Triple-A Durham, and then with the Rays in September. Line drive is going to be in and out of the glove of Keppinger. He'll still get the toss to the second baseman Zobrist for the force play there. So Aviles will reach on a fielder's choice. Keppinger got the glove up there, couldn't hold it, but knocked it down and still had the force play at second base. Take a look at the line drive, and Keppinger shaded a bit that way anyway. Recovered in time to get the force play, and out number 1. Here's Nick Punto. Another nice stop. 1 ball, no strikes. We'll watch Molina. Got both knees down and then the mitt in between. Fastball hitting 93, is off the plate wide. There's a strike, 1-2. Moore's pitch count up in the mid-40s right now as he works with one out here in the third. Two balls, two strikes. Yesterday, James Shields pitched 6 innings for the Rays. He made just 67 pitches. And Moore a little behind, as we mentioned, the other starters' pace. So he's getting to a point here where with Sanchez in the bullpen, the Rays will not be reluctant to make a move. Runner breaks, the pitch is high, and the throw is in front of the bag, but not in time. The pitch was ball 4 anyway. So Punto goes to first. Avila is up to second. A couple walks here in the inning. See the pitch count on Moore. And Cody Ross, who homered to left his first time. Ross coming over from the National League. He was with the San Francisco Giants. Red Sox added him as a free agent. The pitch is outside. High popper right side. Will it be playable? And 2 or 3 rows back and out of the reach of Pena. One ball, one strike to count. Pena was not getting any help from the stands over there. Fastball missed up. He's missed up a lot here in this inning as he gets closer to 50 pitches. So it's 2-1 the count to Cody Ross. But it's about trying to build up the pitch count here in the spring. And the off-speed pitch he tried to change, and now it's 3 balls and a strike. That's ball 4. He misses with a fastball. So 3 walks in the inning, and Madden's going to head to the mound to make a pitching change. So Moore will get his work in, and you could see him struggling with his command here in the third, and this just his second outing of the spring. He pitched an inning in 2/3 5 days ago, and now the call will go to the bullpen. We'll take a break and be back in a moment. Rays are down 2-1 here in the top of the third inning. And we'll look at our Toyota road ahead. James Shields last year coming off that great season with 16 wins and 11 complete games, set to be the opening day pitcher for the Rays. It'll be his fourth. That's the road ahead. Brought to you by Toyota. And Shields very good yesterday, pitching against the Pirates. 67 pitches in 6 innings of 1 run, 4-hit baseball. He didn't walk anybody and struck out 7. And now Matt Moore leaves after making 52 pitches in 2 1/3. And Romulo Sanchez will be the pitcher, inheriting the bases loaded with 1 out. That's the 22-year-old lefty, Matt Moore. And here is Saltalamacchia. He'll turn around to bat left-handed now. That's where most of his power comes from, the left side. Sanchez misses upstairs. Sanchez out of Venezuela. He'll be 28 years old the end of April. Upstairs again. Fastball around 93, and the count is 2 balls, no strikes to Saltalamacchia. Saltalamacchia, 26 years old. Two and 1. He'll let it fly out of fastball. Saltalamacchia had a little hip issue in the spring. And a fastball, and the count is 2-2. Sanchez gets that one by him. Sanchez does have big league time. He spent a couple of stints with the Pirates and got into a couple of games with the Yankees. That was year before last. And he didn't miss by much there. 3-2. Sanchez spent parts of last year pitching in Japan. Here's that pitch. Well, Molina.
That was real close.
Everything he could. You're right, Oh.
I'm down here right at field level, so that looked like a strike from here.
And it's low. The fastball down forces home the 3rd run of the afternoon for Boston. Aviles crosses the plate. The bases remain loaded. Punto at 3rd, Ross at 2nd, and Saltalamacchia now at first base with a bases loaded walk and a run batted in.
And the kid who popped one already, Kruger, coming up to the bat.
Yep, Kruger hit a 2-0 fastball out of here and hit it well his first time. Lifts it toward left center. Jennings back to make the catches. The tag. Punto's going to score, and no chance to make a play on him. And the Red Sox pick up another run. It's now 4-1. Other runners had to hold on the sacrifice fly to left. So Kruger got it deep enough, and while Jennings got back there and was in good position to make the catch with his momentum toward the infield, it was too deep to make any kind of play.
And we've been talking about that wind, and it actually right now in this inning has died down just a little bit. If not, the kid might have had himself a grand slam to boot, because he hit that one pretty good.
Here's Gomez. The pitch is a strike. Gomez out second to first, his first time.
Dwayne, Gomez is reminding me of a guy that I know you've seen a little bit, Willie Mo Pena. In fact, I spent a little time with Boston here, Willie Mo, last year.
Yep.
He's got that same body. They're both from the Republic of Dominica. And saw this kid hitting BP today, bro, and he was just launching them.
Yeah, big power, strikeout prone, as a lot of power hitters are. You'll take a few strikeouts for that power. And a big cut there.
I can attest to that one, Dwayne. You thought you were talking about me there. See, the thing about that, I'll explain it to you. It's really, the way we figured it is that either way, we're not really running very hard. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
We're either trotting, around the bases, or we're kind of gingerly walking back, looking back at the picture, glaring like, hey, I'll get you next time. But either way, it's not real heavy.
Yeah, and that just reinforces the idea. I've always thought of you as a thinking man, and you were doing that. Gomez could not check. He's out on strikes, and so we'll head into the bottom of the third. Couple runs added by Boston, and the Rays are trailing 4-1. Single markers in the first and second, put up 2 in the third. The Rays are on in the second. Right now, let's go to the Rays dugout. And Orestes is standing by with the Rays lefty, Matt Moore.
Thanks, D. Down here with Matt. Matt, tell me how you felt. I mean, it looked like you had some of the fastballs popping. You left a couple out over the plate, but how'd you feel generally?
Generally, my body felt good. The arm was working right the way it was supposed to. And my fastball felt like it was coming out the way it was. It just wasn't going where I was aiming. So I fell behind to those hitters, and when I got especially 2-0 to Kroger, the ball was on the tee for him, and then 3-2 to Cody Ross, who had a challenge with the fastball, and I wound up missing with that one too. So he did what he was supposed to.
You threw a few changeups that I noticed. I know you're working on that a little more this spring. How comfortable did you feel with that? I think it helped you with one of the strikeouts you had as you set up a guy with a couple good changeups then a fastball away.
Yeah, the changeup, it'll come around. Today it was trying a couple different things. Just when I was out there making the adjustments, they get made. It just wasn't there today.
What about some of the other aspects of your game as far as just physically and the endurance at this stage? Because I know you want to try to do so much, but you're still kind of building up your arm strength.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it just right. Right now I'm trying to get into shape, to start a game and go, work deep into it. So a little bit of this is, I'm happy that, I got the conditioning out of my arm and out of my body to, throw 52 pitches, and next time we'll go 70 and work up to we're ready for opening season. How'd
you feel with the veteran Jose Molina? How have you communicated with him so far in spring training and now in game action? Yeah, he's great. This is probably the third time I've thrown to him. Second time in a game. The first two obviously were better. This one, it was more the things that I was trying to do. The adjustments I was making just weren't there for me today. Well, the one thing to look for too is that you look pretty good, and solo home runs are better than 3-run home runs. So you got to feel still pretty good about your outing. Yeah, the walks and things like that, they're gonna take care of themselves as soon as I start getting in the zone, and the home runs will be less as soon as I quit falling behind in the zone, quit falling behind in the count. All right, Lefty. Well, listen, thanks a lot. Keep working hard, and we'll be seeing some more good stuff out of you. All right, thank you. There you go, Big D. Matt Moore.
All right, Orestes, thank you very much. And all in all, I think there was something accomplished there for Matt Moore, and that's to work on the pitch count and extend that arm and arm strength, as you mentioned, and look forward to his next spring outing. Molina reaching on the error charge to Aviles on the low throw. So Jose Molina, who got behind 0-2, is aboard on the error. And here is Sam Fole. And Buchholz misses with the first pitch. No ball, no strikes.
You know, Dwayne, I think that there was some really good points by the young kid. I mean, even though he's still young, he realizes what he's trying to do out there and what, you know, his body can only let him do right now. So there's a lot of emotion probably just fighting through Matt Moore's head of wanting to do so much to make this squad. But there's certain things you can't rush at this point in the spring.
Well, Fole pops it up. Punto starts out from second. Ross in from right, and Punto is there to make the catch. To retire Fole. I think you're absolutely right about that, and that's another impressive thing about Moore, who is as young as he is, but he does have a mature approach to the game, and that's something we noticed right away when he came up. He always appears to be calm and collected out there, and these guys will tell you, well, it might have appeared that way, but there were butterflies. But I think everybody gets butterflies to a point. But overall, the game never seemed to speed up on him, which I think has been so impressive.
That is the terminology, actually, because I know I lived it too, especially when I got called up to New York with the Yankees, and all of a sudden the game that I felt so comfortable with, it was just that. It sped up on me, and I had to find myself to slow my body down, literally, to kind of like breathe and calm down when you're at that biggest stage. And we saw this kid pitch at Yankee Stadium, new Yankee Stadium, and you know, in the throes of a race to try to keep in that wild card, which he was so integral and helpful.
One strike to count to Desmond, and there's a base hit off the glove of the diving Aviles. So Desmond Jennings is aboard. He continues to have a good spring. Just out of the reach of the Boston shortstop. That's the third hit for the Rays.
Well, and Saltalamacchia is going out to talk to Clay because he knows that Desmond Jennings is also in spring training, and one of his fortes is stealing bases. So maybe he wanted to have a little chat with this guy and hold him a little longer. And this is going to be something where you never know might. Well, I take it back. I didn't see Jose at second, so he's not going anywhere. But he wants to calm down Clay Buchholz a little bit, and this might be a situation where Luke Scott can do something big here.
Well, Luke homered yesterday, his first home run of the spring, and because of the recovery from the shoulder, he had been playing every other day, and this is the first time he's played in back-to-back games. He takes a big rip and fouls it back. Strike one. And he is a guy the Rays have added to this lineup with some pop. I think he's still the only guy who has hit as many as 6 home runs out onto Utah Street up in Baltimore at Camden Yards.
That's a poke.
Yeah,
I've seen that. I've been in that park. Wow.
He's done it at least a half a dozen times. 2 strikes the count.
And again, we talked about the fact that this guy can easily hit in this number 2 hole. He could hit in the 5th hole if you needed him to. In the 3rd hole, we've got the dynamics of even the guy behind him, and Ben Zobrist could hit 2nd, 3rd, 5th. So I really like it, and it's not just out of, you know, some way we got to change the lineup up to get some offense. It's, you know, out of pure, depending of what we're facing, what makes most sense. But I really like this acquisition.
Yeah, I do too, and I think Joe Madden's the same way. We'll have a chance to chat with him in the top of the 4th inning, and we can ask him about all that. Ground ball down to first. Gomez steps on the bag. Molina to third, and Jennings up to second base. So the Rays have 2 men in scoring position now with 2 outs. Well, you talk about 2 out hits. This would be a good time just to practice getting into the swing of things when it comes to 2-out hits. The Rays offense has not been exactly on fire this spring. And that's another thing that Madden would like to see as we get into the second half of the Grapefruit League schedule. A bit more offense from the Rays. Zobrist takes the pitch down. Then with a couple extra base hits this spring, Buchholz up around 40 pitches right now and throwing a lot of strikes. He's about 3-1 or a little better than that. Strikes to non-strikes. It's 1-1 right now. There's the breakout. 31 strikes, only 9 non-strikes for Buchholz. Pitch stayed high. Breaking ball.
And there's nobody warming up in the pen, so they're definitely looking to stretch him a little bit here, probably into at least the 50 pitch mark, Dwayne, I would assume. So
yeah, this is his third outing of the spring, his third start, so I'd say you're right. (2-1) lifted, fouled, and toward the stands. That's going to be out of play. And the count evens to Zobrist. 2-2.
yeah, I hadn't when I was talking to Matt, I didn't notice that the Big Bear Molina had gotten on. Now the question is, if there's a base hit, I think that DJ might catch up to the Big Bear. So because on that foul ball, I just saw DJ was almost to third already. And I'm going, uh-oh.
(2-2) and strike 3 call. That pitch came back. It started in and came back to catch the strike zone. And so Zobrist is called out on. The Rays and the Red Sox have completed 3. We're headed into the 4th, and we're pleased to have Joe Madden join us from the Rays dugout. Joe, again, we appreciate your time as always.
My pleasure, buddy.
I know that in that last inning, the Rays had the men at second and third with 2 outs, and nothing would have pleased you more than to have seen maybe a 2-out base hit right there.
Yeah, we've had a hard time with that play this entire spring. Our offense really hasn't hit its stride yet, but it will. Overall, I really like the way we're playing. The enthusiasm in the clubhouse has been great. Their work in the morning has been fabulous. We just have not gone over that offensive hurdle yet.
You know, Orestes and I were talking. The first pitch here in the 4th is a called strike. Jason Repko is the hitter. We were talking about lineup choices, and you're a guy who always right on top of matchups in terms of lineups, and sometimes managers they do that because they really have to. They don't have a set lineup. Well, you now have a lineup that you might do that out of abundance.
Right.
What a position to be in, maybe.
Yeah, but there's still some choices to be made right there. But there is more of an abundant group. As you're absolutely right with that. There's more power. But it's still probably going to come down to left versus left-handed pitcher versus a right-handed pitcher, as an example. There's still, I think that the key, the linchpin of the whole thing is who's going to hit in the 2 spot and how we work that, because that's going to be able to balance out right, left, that kind of thing to follow, especially against the right-handed pitcher, which we should see predominantly. But overall, we're going to sit down probably in about a week to 10 days from now, really try to look at all of our different options and choices, and arrive at least from the beginning of the season, some ideas regarding how we're supposed to work this or how we should work this. But it's going to be an interesting exercise.
Yeah, it'd be great to be a fly on the wall in that room to hear you guys talk about that, because that number 2 spot could really be interesting with the candidates you have to hit there.
Yeah, and again, it depends on what your philosophy is, and I think ours is a little bit more wide open. I don't view it necessarily as a traditional, the old number 2 hitter. Maybe when the Cardinals threw down Maxwell up there, it's not necessarily like that anymore. So with us, that number 2 spot could be a very productive spot in the batting order. And I want to try to get a guy that is probably a high on-base guy, sees a lot of pitches, but also could take advantage of, say, Desmond getting on first base and maybe seeing more fastballs.
Yeah, base hit by Spears, and it's 1st and 3rd now for Boston here against Sanchez. Well, with that in mind, I mean, Luke Scott's a guy who's hitting 2nd today.
Right.
And really a guy, I mean, he could hit 5th, he could hit a number of spots in the lineup, including 2nd.
Right, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, you got BJ, who finished last season really well in the 2-hole with an OPS of over 1,000 for the last 2 weeks of the season. 2 months of the season. And then you got a guy like Luke who has those capabilities. Also, it's also intriguing even to think about Carlos in that spot because of what he brings in regards to being a high on-base percentage guy too. So there's all kinds of intriguing possibilities with that spot. BJ, Luke, Carlos. You even make the argument for Ben Zobrist. We have a lot of different options in that particular part of the batting order. And again, it's all about setting up the table for the rest of the guys too.
Yep. Do you think, and you're right about Upton, BJ was very good in that spot. Do you think it had as much to do with him hitting in 1 spot, or that number 2 spot, especially behind Jennings, and using that right center field slot of the field to hit?
Well, I think part of it was just BJ turned his game up another notch for those last 2 months. Probably, I think he was a little bit more motivated in the 2-hole. Probably saw a different variety of pitches as opposed to hitting farther down in the lineup. So all those things are factors, but I just thought he made some nice adjustments and swung the bat better for the last 2 months. And also, the intriguing part of that is the tandem of DJ leading off and BJ hitting 2nd with all that speed at the top of the batting order. So all that stuff is kind of interesting to look at. I also know that he's comfortable there. I think every guy ever hit in the 2-hole always likes hitting in the 2-hole. You're behind normally a guy with some speed in the number 1 spot, and then a guy in the 3-hole that normally is a pretty good hitter. So it's kind of a sweet spot to hit in a batting order.
Yep. It's going to be fun just for that. That's almost as fun as the games themselves, trying to figure out the lineup. Runner breaks from first, and a liner in the center, out of the reach of Keppinger. Base hit. Repko's going to score. Spears will go to 3rd. And the Red Sox add a run with a hit batter and 2 base hits here in the 4th. Let's ask you about Moore and what you saw today. Orestes had a chance to visit with him, and I would guess that at this point it's more about increasing that pitch count and arm strength.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he wasn't as sharp as he had been the last couple of times we saw him. Fastball velocity was down a little bit. I thought he threw some good curveballs to the left-handed hitters. But overall, I think it's one of those moments in spring training when he wasn't feeling as spiffy as he normally does. And, with that, I really believe the next outing or 2 you're going to start seeing his velocity back up 94, 95 more consistently. Even in the first inning, I told Davey the ball wasn't coming out of his hand as we normally see it. So that's going to happen during the course of this of a spring training situation. I talked to him afterwards, and the only question I wanted to know is how he feels health-wise. He said good, and I said then it was a great day, and we'll move on from there.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. We should all feel spiffy if we can at all, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
One thing, we'll let you go here,
Sure.
but one other thing. You're right. The club has pitched pretty well in the early part of the spring. Some of the defense, I think you'd like to be a little better. The offense, you'd like to be a little bit better. In the second half, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as we come off the All-Star break tomorrow going into the second half of spring training, I'm looking for us to play a little bit better brand of baseball. I think part of it is the fact that we've had so many guys nicked up. It's been difficult to even get on a regular rotation, not necessarily what you perceive to be the starting lineup out there every day, but just a regular rotation of getting your guys out there, whether it's Fridays one group, Saturdays the next group. We haven't been able to do that. So starting on Wednesday, even after the Jupiter trip, I'd like to be able to have us establish more of a set routine with the lineups and then get guys playing together that should be playing together and get the appropriate number of at-bats.
All right, a couple of runs have scored for Boston. We'll skip. Here's to a spiffier second half of spring training and an even better start to the regular season. And we appreciate your time as always.
And as always, my pleasure to speak with you guys. Thanks,
All righty.
buddy. See
Joe
you.
Madden, the race.
Hey, where's Andy?
You know what? We're putting out an APB on him, and we have the Ohio State Police trying to track him down because we'd love to see him as well.
That's absolutely necessary. He could have got his head polished while I was down here a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Andrew Friedman thought, that it might have occurred to him to come down here thinking that all of that was in his honor and an invitation to show up in spring training.
There's no question he thought that we're going to have to set him straight as soon as he shows up.
Exactly. He will be here, and we're looking forward to that. Thank you, Skip.
See you, buddy. Goodbye.
6-1 Boston.
3, 2, 1.
For the fourth, it's 6-1. A reminder, fans, whether you're with family at home or with friends watching our telecast, you may want to discuss, interact, and stay up to date with your favorite teams on Fox Sports Florida and Sun Sports. Like us on Facebook and become a part of the game. Go to facebook.com/Fox Sports Florida Sun Sports.
And Dwayne, we're going to be hot this year too because we got the Barry LeBrock in the post game, pregame, post game. I'm excited to pop in with him down in Fort Lauderdale, the brand new spanking studio. So it's going to be bringing a lot more even Rays info to all of our beloved Rays fans. So we're excited, man.
Yeah, it's going to be added coverage and expanded. So we're looking forward to that with the beginning of the regular season. Here's Evan Longoria to lead off the bottom of the fourth inning. He goes after the first pitch, skying it to center. There's room for Jason Repko out there, and he makes the catch for the out. Defensively, a change at shortstop. Pedro Siriaco has taken over at shortstop for the Red Sox. Actually, it looks like he's playing second base.
Yeah,
he's the second baseman now. Yeah,
he is a shortstop, but
Aviles is still at shortstop, and Siriaco is the second baseman.
And here's that kid Pedro Siriaco. I spoke with Bobby Valentine at length about him. He was really praising the kid. He's had a real nice spring. He likes him. He feels that he's a great athlete. That he can play him anywhere, including possibly the outfield. So you know, this kid might have a chance to, if not stick, definitely, you know, keep his eye on him for a call-up.
Yep. He spent some time with the Pirates organization, and the shift in effect now. Spears goes out there in shallow right field from third base. They keep Aviles on the left side by himself. Siriaco pretty much at his normal second base spot.
And that's an interesting pattern to do it, a way to do it, to move your third baseman all the way over there, because most teams just literally shift. So the shortstop position where Aviles is right now would be the third baseman. I mean, we do it, you know, the Big Papi and everything, and you'll have Elo over there at short, but he opts at keeping his shortstop at short and moving his third baseman.
And a popper foul. I think part of that is, now this foul ball is going to be out of play, but I think Valentine feels that when the regular season begins, whoever's playing shortstop, and let's assume that's going to be Aviles right now, he would have greater range on that left side than if you just shifted Euclid over there. And so his idea is to take that third baseman and station him in the shallow right, and thinking that if there's a pop to the other side, he might actually get a play out of the shortstop. And of course, Longoria for the Rays has great range anyway. Swing and a miss, and so you wouldn't have to move him all the way over.
I think that's a great thought. You're probably totally right on that, because then you'd be basically stuck with a guy like Kevin Euclid, who looks to be your starting everyday third baseman, trying to cover a big area at third base / you know, behind third, shortstop / behind third base. You're absolutely right.
And normally you wouldn't ask the normal third baseman to cover all that ground. You know, you want a guy who's tough and knock the ball down there and pick it up and throw it. You want your shortstop to cover ground, and so they'll leave him there and hope that he can cover it.
So if that's the case, then a team like Detroit, when they implement this type of shift, I guess they might consider doing the same with Miggy Cabrera, because he's not. So. Yeah, he's gotten pretty big in the last few years.
Ground ball towards short. Aviles sets and throws. Keppinger is out of there. It's a 1-2-3 quick inning for Buchholz. We're headed into the fifth, where the score is 6-1 Boston. Our game moves into the fifth inning here. You can secure your seats for opening day with Rays season tickets and enjoy exclusive benefits, including the best seats, biggest savings, as well as postseason privileges. With a variety of plans available and special payment options, you can be a part of the team today. Rays season tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays have been out hit 4-3. They trailed 6-1, and Kyle Farnsworth, who had 25 saves a year ago, is the third Rays pitcher of the day. He follows Moore and Sanchez. The Red Sox will have Cody Ross, Saltalamacchia, and then Kroger due up. Farnsworth, the veteran on the team in terms of big league service. First pitch is a strike. He has over 12 years of major league time. Farnsworth. One and one to Cody Ross. One. Farnsworth worked in the game against the Phillies. It was in the middle of the week. Chopper over the mound. Keppinger at short with a nice pickup to take care of Ross.
That was a nice pickup right there. You can show how this kid can play. I mean, it's not easy to go from first, third, second, and then short and be that smooth. And also, he's played right and left. The only positions this guy hasn't played in his major league career has been catcher, pitcher, or center. So what a guy to have out there. But again, talking about you were talking about Farnsworth and the job that he's done as his veteran. Last year, the first time really ever that he's ever been handed the ball to say, okay, we want you to close. He's always been known as a hold'em guy. And he seems to be really fine with his role that has never been fully, given to him, that he's a true closer, and he's become this very good team player, and he fits very nicely. I even had some trepidation how he was going to all fit in the bullpen and maybe want that role be announced, but he's fine with it.
Yeah, we talked about his big league time, and he'd spent 11 years in the major leagues and had a total of 27 saves through those seasons until last year, and he had 25 last year.
Exactly, and did it so well quietly. He never caused any any issues about the fact that he wasn't really named the closer until until the end of the season, when we probably realized that Joe finally relented.
Pitch is down. It's 2-1. Yeah, and that doesn't bother him at all. Because he'll tell you, he goes, what I am is a pitcher. I'm a pitcher. And whether he's designated as a closer or whatever someone might designate him as, he goes, I'm a pitcher, and I'm going to pitch and try to get hitters out. Well, that seems to make a lot of sense to me, and it's not very complicated. Saltalamacchia now with a full count, 3-2. I always liked what Don Zimmer said when guys, players, and pitchers alike were talking about their roles. Well, I don't know what my role is. He goes, if you hit, play defense, or pitch well, you'll figure out your role pretty quickly.
Right.
There's a 3-2 pitch, and it's skied toward right center. Sam Fold is there, and he makes the catch.
Yeah, but D, that might be agent talk too. Remember, now we're in a situation where roles are very personified, very distinct, and very well paid. So
that's right.
You want to be classified, even to the point now that hold'em guys are very well paid handsomely. So you don't probably want to be classified just a regular reliever. I want to be the left-handed guy that holds them, because that's worth $5.6 million.
Yeah.
So I can understand that, but you're right. Baseball is baseball, and if you're a hitter, you're a hitter. If you're a pitcher, you're a pitcher.
Yeah, and believe me, as we all know, Zim, who's been around this game, predates all of that, and God bless him for carrying that with him and
right.
Keeping it alive. There's There's a strike on the inside part of the plate. The count is 1-1, and you're right about that. The game has become specialized where it really encourages people to grab those identities. But I thought it was refreshing to hear Farnsworth say, well, no, I'm a pitcher and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get a guy out. And he got Kroger out on a fly ball to right. Joyce had to fight the breeze a little bit. We go to the bottom of the fifth, and it's 6-1 Boston. Half of the fifth of the Rays down 6-1, down by 5 runs here to the Boston Red Sox. Right now, let's check in with Barry LeBrock again. Barry, where are you now?
All right, Dwayne. Well, I'm in right field, deep right field, beyond a great part of this ballpark, little picnic area out here. A lot of fans enjoying their beverages and watching the game. And on Thursday, right in this very area, a bunch of the Rays, the players and the coaches and the team staff, they came together to get their hair cut for pediatric cancer to raise awareness and money. A lot of the guys get involved. In fact, owner Stuart Sternberg stepped in, got his hair cut, and donated $25,000. I mean, talk about having a big day. Sternberg certainly did out here, and a bunch of the guys, you know, very, very willing to say goodbye to their hair and say hello to new awareness for pediatric cancer. It's a great effort by this team, and so many guys participated. It speaks very tellingly of where these guys' minds are this spring training.
Well, you're right about that. Donations will be collected online until Friday, May the 4th. So they encourage the public to text CUT, C-U-T, to 50555 and make a $10 donation. Here is Matt Joyce to lead it off, and the pitch is a strike. Buckholtz a little over 50 pitches right now. He's had a very good day. He's gotten his work in. He's made some good pitches. Longoria touched him for a home run in the second. The Rays have a run and 3 hits off him. Matt Joyce grounded out his first time. Strike around the knees. It's 1-2. Jose Molina is on deck, and then Sam Fuld. Molina. Holds the count at 1-2 strikes. Well, 2 years ago, Buckholtz really came into his own. He was a 17-game winner with the Red Sox, 17-7, and a .233 earned run mark, and then 6-3 last year, and ran into the stress fracture, the back problems. 2-2 the count to Matt Joyce. There's a liner in the right center. That's going to be in there. Base hit. Joyce around first and decides to put on the brakes. So Matt Joyce collects a leadoff single. Rays trying to get their offense started down here, get everybody healthy, and get more or less the full everyday lineup out there a little more often. And we'll see that happen in the second half of spring training. Tomorrow, a day off for the Rays. Over to first base, and back in is Joyce. It will not be a day off for Jeremy Hellickson, however. He's scheduled to pitch in a minor league game tomorrow. And David Price scheduled to pitch on one of the backfields here today. James Shields got plenty of work yesterday, 6 innings and 67 pitches against the Pirates. Matt Moore, a little over 50 pitches in his outing today, his second of the spring. Big cut, Molina fouls it. Tom Foley down there at third base in the coaching box, showing great agility as usual. There he is. Foley wanted no part of that one. 2 strikes the count. Tom, a very good infielder in his playing days, and continues to look as if he could play the middle infield now.
Say it again.
2 strikes the count to Molina with Joyce at first. And back in at first base.
You know, Dwayne, I'm kind of hoping that that Jose has a strong, obviously we're all hoping he has a strong offensive year. He's the type of guy that that can help out the back end of that lineup there a little bit more than we had last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know what he can do behind the plate, and he has shown signs of handling the bat as well. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's going to be an interesting situation, too. You know, he hit 280, I think 281 last year with Toronto and 246 the year before.
He's never had more than 300 at bats in a season, because he's always been, you know, that second catcher, definitely more of a platoon guy. So I think being the go-to guy here maybe might get him in a comfort zone offensively.
Cues that one the other way, and it's still 1-2. And that's one of the decisions the Rays still have to make.
Yep.
You know, who's going to pair up with Molina as the other catcher. And there's Chirinos with a concussion, pretty much out of that running as a result of that. Stephen Vogt has gotten some attention with his bat. Jose Lobaton. Oh, there is strike 3 call. So Molina caught looking. That pitch started right at him, and then enough so that he gave up on it, and it broke over to catch the strike zone.
Well, it's that big 12-6 curveball that Buchholz can drop on you. I mean, you get used to seeing the 4 and 2 seamer and the occasional changeup, but he's got a yellow hammer for you that hasn't used as much today than he normally does. But he's probably saving that baby more for the regular season, just trying to get the velocity up.
Yep.
There it is again.
Yeah, It's a strike call.
I mean, this is a kid that threw a no-hitter. I think within his first 3 or 4 starts in the big league. So you got to have something.
Well, and if he's healthy,
yes,
he is a big part of this Boston team without question.
Speaking of
and
healthy,
he looks very healthy right now. I'll tell you that.
He looks. How would Joe say it? Was it frisky
spiffy.
Or what was the word?
He looks spiffy.
Spiffy. Yeah.
And that's a level that we're all going to aspire to throughout the season. We may have to have a spiffy check.
I want to eventually end up spiffy on a beach somewhere when I'm older. I want to be nice and spiffy.
A little tap foul.
But you were talking about healthy and pitching, and one of the guys that I spoke to Bobby Valentine about was Daisuke Matsuzaka, who's he's coming back from surgery. In fact, he's throwing like David Price is today in a little simulated game back in Fort Myers, and they're not expecting him at all to start the season with him, but they're hoping that he'll be back sometime this year.
Tap, and that's a foul ball.
So he can add another dimension if he comes back off that Tommy John healthy or successful.
Well, the American League East only gets tougher, it seems. And, they're going to have not only Buchholz, but Beckett and Lester, and they're moving Daniel Bard into the rotation.
Yeah.
One, 2 is popped up. Shortstop, and that takes care of Sam Fole. Avila's with the grab. That'll get it back around to the top of the order for the Rays. Here is Desmond Jennings. Desmond has one of the Rays' hits, one of the 4. Hits are even at 4 apiece, but the Red Sox have done most of the scoring today. Ground ball third, and comes up on Spears. He recovers, and the throw is not in time. So the inning will continue.
That ball was smoked by Jennings. He's hit the ball hard today, and there was really no play anywhere at that point because he's beating it out at first, even if the kid Spears throws the first, and Joyce is going on contact with 2 outs, so there was really no play there either. He kind of almost should have ate it, but well hit by DJ right there.
So Jennings is aboard.
This is where it makes it a little more fun offensively, I think, when you've got these athletes that you've added. Even Luke Scott, who can run a little bit. It could be a little more dynamic right here.
Well, an error allowing Jennings to reach on a very sharply hit ball that came up on the third baseman. Luke Scott up here, 1-0 the count.
By the way, DM
drops low. Yes, sir.
I'm liking the energy of this kid, Luke Scott. The last couple games I've come down to the dugout here and amongst the players, and he's obviously DHing, so he's in the dugout, and very positive vibe from this kid, and talking to the people, and he comes by and he will even tell me about his at bat, and he seems to be very, very excited about being with this team. He sees the opportunity, and he seems to be a very pro kind of player.
And there's a strike. Well, he's a Florida kid, number 1.
Yeah. They come home, yeah.
He's home, and he loves to hunt, and he can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Too. And I think there is a comfort level, and he is fit right into the clubhouse.
Well, he took over for another Florida guy, basically as a left-hander DH guy who was very happy to be here last year, and that was Johnny Damon. So.
Yep, that's right.
Keep that positive vibe would be nice. Because Johnny sure did bring a positive vibe last year.
2-2 the count.
I just haven't gotten into that hunting thing. I mean, this is not the. So maybe he might have to, show me what's up with that. But my wife would kill me. She's, not about hunting.
Two men on, 2 men out. 2-2 the count to Luke Scott. Jennings reaching on the air charge to the third baseman. There is Ryan Dent down there in third, charged with that error. The pitch is high, and Scott checked in time, so the count is full.
Like to see DJ run a little bit here, show some of the speed, get himself going a little bit, a little gapper, and try to see if he can score from first on a double.
Well, they'll be off. Joyce at second, Jennings at first on the 2-out full count. They go, and the pitch is chopped foul outside of first, and we'll do all of that again. Cesar Ramos has been loosening in the bullpen for the Rays. Rays have, to this point, used Moore, Sanchez, and Farnsworth. Kyle had a 1-2-3 fifth.
He was talking to Joe in between innings, and obviously he's still in the dugout here, so he didn't throw that many pitches, so we may see Kyle come back out here for another little stint.
The runner takes off, nobody covering third. And so Joyce moves in there without a play. They had that shift on, and Joyce just went right over to third base, so now it's first and third.
Why not?
Yeah.
What that creates is a possible run, because what could happen here is that Luke could hit a ground ball here and somehow maybe end up beating it out. You know that Dan Jennings is going to be running here, 3-2, 2 outs. So he's going to be in motion. He's going to take the force out at first base. So all of a sudden, he hits a dribbler and an error, or somebody kind of rushes it, and you can score a run without getting the ball into the outfield.
So a full count to Luke Scott, first and third now. Buchholz had made just a little over 50 pitches in the front four. He's made 24 pitches here in the fifth. And a fly ball sent into right field. That will retire the side. Rays pick up a hit, no runs, an error, and 2 men left, and we go to the sixth. 6-1 Boston. Boston on top. Our game moves into the 6th inning this afternoon. Great to have you looking in. You can organize a group of your family, friends, and coworkers and enjoy Rays baseball, and you can earn rewards such as free Rays tickets, an Evan Longoria autographed baseball, a catered suite, and much more. As the group leader, there's a group leader reward program allowing you to earn rewards when you bring a group to Tropicana Field. For more information, visit raysbaseball.com/group leader or call 727-825-3406. Well, it will be Gomez, Repko, and Spears here in the 6th to face Cesar Ramos. Ramos, the 4th Rays pitcher. And Mauro Gomez will be the first hitter to face the Rays lefty. Gomez, 27 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. And big power. Here's a strike. A new supply of baseballs there. Properly rubbed up, I'm sure, and ready for action. Liner into left, falling in front of Jennings. And Gomez has a base hit.
That ball was scolded. Big kid Gomez.
Sure was.
I wanted to ask you, D, your thoughts on the lefty bullpen situation, because that's also so important, so integral in a bullpen for a team. And obviously, Cesar did a solid job last year. You got JP, who's kind of hopefully going to be coming back that second year off of that surgery, should be a lot better. And Jake, probably to mix in a combination, having two of those guys be in there. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, it's almost like the lineup. There is an abundance of choice there.
Yeah.
Something that a lot of clubs don't have. And of course, the Rays, as you mentioned, J.P. Howell, further removed from the surgery. There's Pena running out of room on the foul ball. And what they're looking for in J.P., you know, there were, you would see the pitch that he would want to make and then execute it. And then there would be a problem executing that pitch again, which is pretty normal coming off the kind of surgery that J.P. Howell had. So the Rays are looking for more consistency in the execution of pitches from him. And if they can get that, that is a major lift for the Rays from the left side in the bullpen, because we all know how important he was to this bullpen. And with the other lefty situation, with McGee and Ramos, I mean, those are two guys with two very good arms. Curveball that stays high there, and Repko takes the count to 2-1. And, you know, and Andrew Friedman said this at the outset. They're going to be two or three very good arms going to AAA.
Yes, for sure. I mean, one already got sent down, and now it's Cobb. You know, the kid Torres actually has a pretty good arm, the lefty.
That's right.
That I think one day could be either a starter or could be a swing guy reliever.
And I tell you who else has a great arm is Archer, who was out early. He has just a fabulous arm.
And the kid Bush, too. The little guy who could throw about 95. So, no. They got some serious arms. It's just, I mean, I see this lefty-lefty matchup situation so important. I'm hoping that the J.P. Howell is the one that, you know, that comes out and we see the J.P. of old. Because, I mean, J.P. for a while was an actual closer for this team. I mean, he was that good. So, and had no fear going up against the big boys of the American League East, of which there are so many. I mean, just in the East, and then you go into Hamilton down, you know, all the lefties that they got over there for some of the teams like Minnesota or, you know, a Mauer or Detroit. Now with Prince.
Liner into right field, and that's going to be caught by Joyce, and a quick throw back to first, a little wide and late. Gomez got back in there, but Joyce Had a good idea right there on that hot shot line drive off the bat of Repko.
Yeah, and you alluded to it the other day when we did the telecast, how he's become such a better right fielder. He's more aware of things, and he's always had the rifle arm, so the arm's always suited him. It's just positioning himself better and being smarter in the outfield.
One on, one out. Here's Nate Spears, who's now playing right field. He started the day at third base for Boston. Spears, a local product. He went to high school at Charlotte and takes the breaking ball in for a strike.
I'll tell you another guy that I'm glad we have is Gomes, because he showed me as a righty that there were certain times that I felt very comfortable with him even getting tough lefties out.
Yeah, and you love the way he goes about
I really like
his
that
job. I'll tell you, you can't help but like him. And they're going to have to make some decisions maybe on the right side, too. You know,
yeah, they're pretty hefty
guys
over there, man. They have a lot of strong right-handed relievers, a couple of young guys, and then a couple of veterans, especially in Peralta and Rodney. You got to kind of give the ball to a lot.
There's a strike. Good pitch there, and it's 1-1. And they also like the sinker ball of Badenhop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the kid that came from the Marlins, definitely.
Yep.
Especially, he's not a real good righty-lefty matchup guy, but he's a very good righty-righty matchup guy.
2 strikes the count. Into the dirt. Molina recovers. Gomez on his way, and there will be no play on the wild pitch. So there are some decisions to make in that bullpen, right-handed and left-handed. They want to figure out who will join Molina behind the plate. So decisions there, and ultimately the decision as to how the rotation will shake out. But the good thing in all of those situations, particularly when it comes to pitching, they're dealing from abundance.
Yes, it's the key word you want, or words, it's quality depth is what this team has.
A 1-2 count to Spears. Fouls it. Of course, the other thing that brings up, we talked about the depth of pitching. There's a lot of speculation as to whether the Rays will make a deal to find a partner for Molina behind the plate, or will it come from the current pool of contestants here. And so, we're going to find out over the next couple of weeks here.
Well, Joe alluded to what you tried to CSI, get yourself into some of these meetings. I liked what you tried to do there. I don't think he answered you properly there. He was like, "Yeah, that'll be real nice there. We'll send you an invite here soon." but a lot of those war room organizational meetings will be coming to a head within the next only about 10 days, and a lot of those decisions are like you said, a lot of good ones to be had, I think, because we have the depth. But there's some, a trade, and who do you give up? And some of those young kids that we were mentioning, like Archer and Bush and Torres, Cobb.
Swing and a miss. Spears against the lefty is out on strikes.
And that's what you want to see right there. You want to see him getting a left-handed hitter out. That's what his main job will be most of the time. I mean, probably 80% of the times he'll be facing lefties, and you want to see him dominate the lefties right now.
Well, if you're other clubs, and you could certainly see how they could have an interest on guys who are still here in the big league camp, and some of those young guys who they've already sent to the minor league camp. You can't help but have legitimate interest if you're other clubs looking for pitching. And how many organizations are as deep as this one?
Well, that's probably one of the reasons that so many cross-checkers and scouts you see it at probably more at Rays games than you see at any other spring training games.
That's right. 1-0 the count to Alex Hassan, Just played left field today, and the pitch is down 2-0.
But you make a good point about Jose and maybe Molina behind the plate, and who's going to be the guy, with him. Is it going to be the core group that's here now, or would they make a trade before April 6th? I mean, you have time throughout the season to the July trade deadline to work on that.
Down to third. That's going to be a fair ball, and a long throw by Longoria. Pena can't dig out the hop. Here comes Gomez to the plate. He will score. The Red Sox pick up their 7th run of the day, and Hassan is aboard.
It's all good with that one because this is one of the best third basemen in all of the game. He just didn't set himself real good with his right foot, his plant foot, in order to get on top of the ball, because he normally makes that play like in his sleep. We're going to take a look at it again. Right there, you're going to see his right foot, the plant foot, didn't really get out underneath it. In fact, getting basically your bottom, getting lower and getting his butt really into the throw behind it, and he kind of threw a little flat-footed. He knows it. I tell you, that kid is, with the glove and the arm, the range that you were talking about earlier, how you can move him to short, he is phenomenal. The only other guy I can think of maybe is Zimmerman with the Nats, but I think he's better than Zimmerman.
Pitch to Aviles is a strike. Yeah, you could figure that there are a number of clubs where he could play shortstop.
Oh, for sure.
Right now.
Yes, sir.
Little soft liner going to be caught by Zobrist to retire the side. A run scores in the inning, a couple hits, an error, and a man left, and we go to the bottom of the 6th, 7-1 Boston. Visit your local Toyota dealer for great deals on the amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. In the bottom of the 6th, the Rays find themselves down 7-1. Right now, let's go down to the Rays dugout, and here's Orestes.
Thanks, D. With me is one of the new guys, but not new to the state of Florida where he's from here, Luke Scott. Luke, firstly, I got to ask you, most importantly, how's your shoulder, and how are you feeling about that?
The shoulder's come along good. It's been a long process where I've had to do, everyday rehab, but it's come along good. I'm happy with the results, and it just takes time. You got to stay disciplined, stay patient, and not overdo it.
And I'm sure you probably talked to J.P. Howell a little bit, because he also had that kind of similar surgery, and more importantly for him on his left arm. But a lot of exercise and a lot of repetition of things that people don't realize you have to try to fix that right shoulder with.
Yeah. It's the main thing is not going overboard, not working too hard, not taking too many swings, because it tires quickly. And the one thing I don't want to have is a setback. Just if it's a slow pace, as long as it's up in the right direction, I'll stick with that.
Well, you're a guy that could be so influential in this offense, and I'm sure you're happy that it came along also with Carlos Pena, that combination and what you've seen so far, the potential. I know the spring, guys haven't been hitting that much, but I know that you see the potential in this offense. What do you think about it?
I think what this offense has is we have balance up and down the lineup. We have a good mix of guys who can run, guys who can play small ball, steal bags. We do have power threats in the lineup from both sides of the plate. We have guys that can play different positions in the field. So there's a lot of versatility on this team, and I think it gives Joe Madden a lot to work with.
And I've seen already when I've been around you here in camp a lot of energy, a lot of positive kind of vibe coming from you, man. And I think that's a good thing as a young veteran that you are in the major leagues. That this team, you infuse it. You're replacing technically a guy who also brought a big vibe in Johnny Damon, another Florida guy. So I mean, is that just part of your makeup?
Yeah. They have a really good thing going here. They've already solidified a great rotation and a very good team. They've proven that they can win. And from top to bottom, players and staff, they know what they're doing around here. I just want to come in and be a blessing to the team and provide what I offer.
As far as Joe and talking to your hitting coach and Shelty and stuff, what are some of the things that they've been trying to infuse on you or kind of asking you to possibly do?
Well, just right now it's just maintenance of my shoulder and go at my own pace as far as how my shoulder feels. Don't rush it. They not trying to put any pressure on me. They just work, do what you can every day. Let us know how it feels. Get with Ron Porterfield, our head trainer, and form a game plan, and then work towards getting to be ready April 6th. That's the most important thing.
And you're not far from here in Florida. Your family, you got to be happy. I see the big smile on your face. That's got to be something that's very special. I know I got the experience to play with the Marlins, being a Miami boy. How has that been for you, your family, your extended family?
It's just a tremendous blessing because I'm real big on family. I'm blessed to have just wonderful parents, wonderful siblings, and an extended family that love me and support me. And to have that love and support close by to where they can come and visit and see some games, it's just, for me, I'm just very grateful for that opportunity.
Well, buddy, welcome to Tampa Bay Ray World, and have a healthy and successful season. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you very much.
There you got it, Big D. One of our new guys, and you can see the smile on the face. He's happy to be with this team, Luke Scott.
Yeah, and I think the club is very happy to have him in that lineup because he gives them depth and versatility and some added pop. It's going to be fun to watch him. Well, Evan Longoria is aboard with what turns out to be an infield hit. Zobrist struck out against the new pitcher, Justin Thomas, to start the inning. And here's Carlos Pena. Pitch is down. A new battery for the Boston Red Sox with Thomas on the hill and Daniel Butler taking over behind the plate. One on, one out. And Carlos takes a strike around the knees. Daniel Nava is taken over in left. Jason Repko still in center. Nate Spears, who started the game at third, is in right field. Dents at third. Avila is at short. Siriaco at second. Gomez at first. The pitch to Pena is ripped into right for a base hit. One hop grabbed by Spears. Down to second goes Longoria. And Carlos Pena singles against the left-hander.
That's the key right there, that last part of your sentence. It was against the left-hander, and I think that he's going to take that with him. This is a positive at-bat for him. Remember the first at-bat, he kind of gave it in, trying to do all that fake bunting stuff, and right there he smokes a fastball pitch out over the plate. So he's had a couple of strikeouts, but that's an at-bat that he's going to remember, is going to stay in the memory banks, and you take those into the season.
Here's Jeff Keppinger. He's played the game at shortstop for the Rays. It's a little piece of it foul. That's a strike. The Rays facing Justin Thomas. He's 28 years old, a lefty who has had some big league time in both the American League and the National League. He was up with Seattle for a handful of games in 2008. It was 8 games then, and 2010, 12 games with Pittsburgh. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Rays trying to do a little damage. Boston added a run in the top half of this inning. This one deflecting off the pitcher and past Siriaco into center field. Longoria scores. Pena goes to third, and Keppinger hit it right back through the middle. A deflecting line drive off Thomas, the pitcher, and the Rays pick up their second run. The Red Sox will want to give Thomas a second or two to collect himself.
Great piece of hitting right there. We talked about how good a hitter the kid Keppinger is against lefties. He's got a well over 300 batting average for his career against lefties. He just sees the ball well. A bullet off of what looked to be like his hip or his back, and no play. And here's where the dynamic offense, I think that Luke Scott was alluding to, I think we're really going to see later on when the season really gets going, comes into play. You got a lot of athletic guys on the base pass. A guy like Carlos Pena easily makes it to third.
Now Matt Joyce rolls it foul against the lefty. Strike one. So a good at bat here for Joyce against the lefty would be a lift. Rays have their second run of the game. 3 straight hits off Thomas. Joyce had a base hit in the 5th against the starter Buchholz. One ball, one strike. Pulling off that one a little bit.
Not sure. That could have been a little two-seamer that sunk on him. Seemed to be on it, but that ball kind of dropped on him. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, a little cutter, I think it was. Pulled off it.
Stop by the catcher Butler. And it's 2-2.
One thing I'm noticing more about Matt, as he did this last year, much better than the year before, the way he's taking pitches, Dwayne, and the way his approaches are. I mean, I'm expecting even much bigger things this year than we had last year from this kid.
First and third. Keppinger back in at first. Well, he got to see left-handed pitching a little bit more last year, and you know, that's you know, the chicken or the egg, which comes first. But you can't hit left-handed pitching unless you see it, and the more you see it, the better chance you have of making the adjustment. He's out on strikes here, and that's always the difficult part a manager has to evaluate. How many at-bats do you give a guy? And you know, Madden's pretty good about trying to spot a young guy like that and give him enough exposure to left-handed pitching so that he can develop to the point where he can bat against most left-handed pitching. And that's where Madden would love to go with Joyce.
Yes, I agree with you. And trying to set him up now this year into like, hey, you're my right fielder, you know? I mean, until otherwise, you know, you show me that you regressed on hitting lefties, which should not be the case. You should feel very confident that you're my guy, and that helps a player now knowing. See, at this point last year, exactly a year ago, he was trying to be confident with his own style, but he wasn't sure that he was going to get the everyday post. It just kind of fell on his lap because we needed the offense, and we had injuries to Evans. So, and he was so hot against righties that he stayed in the lineup, and it worked out.
Strike two, boy. Thomas has stayed right out there, down and away, and actually got that little down and away movement.
Yes, he does.
And so he's now ahead of Molina, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he just turned that one over. That's all that one was. But with good movement, with that little herky-jerky leg stuff, lefties always give you trouble when they have all that kind of body movement.
And there's a fair ball off the tarp down the left field line. Pena scores. Go to third. Out at third as Keppinger tried to advance Nava got the carom and the throw back to third, and the Rays settle for 2 runs. They get 1 run on the hit by Molina, and we're at the end of 6. It's now 7-3. Two in the bottom of the 6th. We go to the 7th. Just a reminder, baseball back right here in Port Charlotte. You can catch the Rays throughout spring training. Going up against the Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, and other clubs. Tickets start at just $7 for select games. Call 888-FAN-RAYS now or go to RaysBaseball.com. Pedro Siriaco is going to lead it off here, taking over in the number 2 spot, originally occupied by Nick Punto. And the first pitch is a strike. Siriaco, 26 years old. He pops it into short right. Joyce makes the catch. Siriaco's out of there.
Third baseman, number 94, Ryan Day.
Well, D, at least we've seen the offense, you know, open up a little bit. I mean, 8 hits, and some guys that you want to see getting hits have gotten hits. Evan got his first one with the home run. Nice job by Molina. A nice knock by Pena against a lefty. So we're getting some positives here.
Well, that's what Joe Madden is looking for, particularly with this game and then a day off tomorrow, and they resume play on Tuesday. No breaking ball to Ryan Dent for a strike, and they want to see the offense pick up a little bit, and with that, I think we'll see those lineups with a few more of the regulars as they get healthy and more playing time under their belts, with an eye toward opening day. So Madden would like to see some momentum coming out of spring training. Ramos misses low. It's 1-2. Pop up right side, foul. Lobaton behind the plate now, and he makes a nice little catch on that ball. Lobaton got a good quick read on that. Didn't have a lot of height on it, and he made a nice little play.
He really did, because I'm right down here at field level, and it's not it wasn't as easy as it looked, really. And you've got the sky and the wind and the day games like that will bother you, but good job. He is really of the trio that we've been alluding to, and Vogt, Lobaton, and you throw in there Jimenez. the more talented defensively for sure.
Butler, and the pitch to him is a strike.
And Chirinos, of course, is ailing a little bit with the concussion, but all four of those guys, I would say Jose Lobaton is the more defensive prowess here.
Fly ball into left. Jennings is there to catch it. It's a 1-2-3-7. Seventh inning stretch time at the ballpark. 7-3 Boston. Seven to 3. Let's go to the Rays dugout, and here's Orestes.
Hey, thanks a lot, D. With me, Jose, the Big Bear here, Molina. And how you feeling out there? How's the knee? How's the body?
Everything feels good. It feels awesome. Just to get back out there and, just working hard to get ready for the season.
Well, I know when I talked to Joe Madden about you, man, they were so happy to get you early in the offseason and get that signing because they really wanted your presence, this type of a quality catcher leading this very talented pitching staff. I want to ask you about your thoughts now that you've had the chance to work with a few of them 2 or 3 times. What do you think about the starting staff?
Well, I was happy about it. I was really happy we get it done early and concentrate on working my body try to play every day. And Yadi helped me a lot on it, and I think it's been great so far. Regarding the pitcher staff, everybody knows how good they are, how great they are. I just have to learn that a little bit, and some adjustments here, there, and I think that we're going to be fine. We're going to be where we want to be, and it's the World Series.
Talk a little bit about Matt Moore, who threw today. You've caught him before already in the spring, but today maybe the velocity wasn't as strong, or maybe the command with the pitches, but he did show some sparks. What was your take on Matt?
I think he was just off a little bit today. I think all the pitchers have at least once in spring, and one of those days. We work what we need to work. It was his changeup, his slider, curveball. The location we work on it, that'll be fine. I think his velocity, he will get it back by the next outing. So I think it's fine. He'll be okay.
Jose, obviously, we see Sammy Fold getting on base there on that bunt. Obviously, the Molina family, they've been so incredible in the Major League Baseball with your brother Yadier and obviously Benji. And then you alluded to the fact that you've talked to Yadier and probably Benji too, as far as playing every day. Here's an opportunity for you to do so. What are some of the things that they shared with you?
Well, it was a lot about, take care of yourself in the gym with the trainers. Got to get those legs fresh. No matter what they say about not getting the trainer on, you have to get in there. Have to make sure your legs are fresh, and work out with your condition guide, and you do that, and you will find you'll be okay for the rest of the year.
What do you think about some of the things that Jim Hickey has brought and his style and what he tries to impose on his pitchers, and talk to you about what he wants his pitchers to do?
Well, we just want to throw strikes. That's the key, I think, not just in this team, in the whole major league. So, what we want really just throw first pitch strike, and then we just work from there. He's a little bit different from the other guys, but eventually, everything is what we want. Throw the first pitch strike. So he's big on that. Lastly,
man, you've been obviously at the big boy level there with the World Series twice, and in '09 with the Yankees most recently. And this American League East well with Toronto the last couple of years. Just ask you about this East and where you see this team fitting in this monster, which is the American League East.
well, you guys saw it last year, what happened at the end. I think this team never give up, and that's one of the reasons it made me come here. You know, first that they want me, and second, I want to. And I like the challenges. I like to. I always believe that if you want to make it big, you know, that is the World Series, you have to play with the big. So, and I think this division is for big boys.
Thank you, Jose. Good luck to you, man. Stay healthy, and it's good to see you on a Rays uniform. There you go, D.
Well, the Rays are happy to have him. Now here's Jennings dropping a base hit into right field. Cole was on his way and goes all the way to third. So a bunt single and a base hit. And the Rays have men on the corners with nobody out against Vicente Padilla, who is pitcher number 3 for the Red Sox. Padilla's big league time most recently with the Dodgers, where he had a heck of a time staying healthy. And he is a guy who will try to sink the ball a lot.
Heavy sinker guy. I mean, he's Derek Lowe comes to mind when you think of Vicente Padilla, and he's thrown well this spring. I was talking to Bobby Valentine about him. He's liked what he's done.
So here's Luke Scott. Just a little piece of it. A foul, strike one. Last year with the Dodgers, just 9 games. So he's trying to prove that he's healthy and force his way into the Red Sox pitching plans. Scott lifts a foul out of play. 2 strikes. Rays got 2 runs in the 6th to make it a 4-run ball game. Now the first 2 men are on in the 7th.
And if you look, it's interesting, but we may be losing 7-3 here in the bottom of the 7th, but we're out hitting them 10 hits to 6. So especially in the last few innings, the bats have woken up a little bit. And this is a big at bat, really, even though it's still the middle of the spring for Luke. But you got a runner on third, less than 2 outs. You want to put the ball in play.
And around his back foot.
These are the ones you want to work on right now. These are the quality at bats. I remember when I was playing, this is the money right here. Whenever I had a guy on third base, less than 2 outs, I was always trying to look to produce at least a 70% clip. And, you know, those are almost the gimme RBIs, and it helps your team.
A ball, 2 strikes. There's the runner off first, and the pitch is foul off the press box area. And so we'll do it again on 1 and 2, and Jennings was on the move off first base.
And you see Luke kind of shaking his right arm there, because remember, he's coming off of shoulder labor and surgery, man. This is pretty major stuff. And even though it's not his throwing arm, it's actually to some degree still problematic, because it's your pull arm. As a left-handed hitter that he is, that's the hand, that's your power, your bottom hand, and it's the shoulder that pulls through the ball. So as he was talking to him when we talked to him the inning before, that's what he's trying to get in shape here.
Ground ball right side. Chiriaco goes to second, and the ball dropped there as he was taking it out of his glove. So the play will stand as a force play at second. The run scores. The ball dropped on the exchange. Scott made contact. Will pick up a run batted in to make it 7-4. And Jennings is forced at second. Here's another look.
Yeah, we'll take a look right there. That's a close one. That could have gone either way, but he gave him the call. Umpires are in spring training too, so those are the ones that they got to work out themselves. But I think it's a fair enough call. But again, good job by Luke Scott right there. You didn't want to punch out. You didn't want to pop up. You want to drive that run in. And when I was talking about the 70%, doesn't mean that you got to get a base hit. You just got to put the ball in play enough to get that RBI in.
First pitch to Zobrist is a strike, and that's you talk about an off-speed pitch to take something off a little breaker, and boy, did he. That one floated in the mid-50s. He wasn't even going the speed limit on that one. Pop into short left. There's Nava making the catch.
Who was he? D, who was he reminding the Boston fans up here? Was that either Bill Lee or El Tiante?
Yeah.
One of the two, or a mix of both.
A little floater that he dropped in there.
He's Latin and he's a little bit zany, so it's definitely, I think, a combination of both. So you got a little bit of Bill Lee in him and a little bit of the great Cuban Luis Tiant, who's still in Boston over there doing things, looking good.
Pitch is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Pretty good velocity on that pitch. So he went from 54 on that little floater to 93 on the first pitch to Longoria that just missed outside.
It's like you on your drive back over there to Sankey Beach over there, I think it is. You go kind of 54 and then speed up if you don't see anybody or don't see any of those guys now.
Yeah, just
cruise in.
Yeah, just checking the sidelines there to see if anybody is looking.
Yeah, they'll nail you.
2-0.
He's mixing it in.
Yeah, and how about that? Another one that
he's making it part of his repertoire, I think, this year.
So here's the second one of the inning.
Yeah, it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be part of his deal.
Three and 0 the count. And he missed. So he walks him on 4 pitches. 3 fastballs and that little floater in between. So that pushes Scott to second. Yes, sir.
I do remember still as a kid, I guess it was, the 75 World Series when Tony Perez hit that eephus pitch by Bill Lee for a home run in game 6 or 7, I believe it was. That it stays in my mind. I'll never forget that moment. I was about 12 years old.
Well, here's Carlos Pena against Padilla, and the Rays have managed to get the tying run to the plate. And he serves this one in there, taking a lot off that pitch for a strike.
And the key to this is making sure that it's got enough of the depth, you know what I mean, up and down, that it's not just kind of just floating in there like a changeup. It's got to have the tumbling nature to it, because then it's hard. It's almost like making a guy a slow pitch softball hitter all of a sudden.
The pitch is foul the other way. Isn't it interesting? I mean, and you know what he'll do? Not only will he throw that eephus-like pitch, but then he'll give you a pitch like that to Carlos, and he'll vary his delivery a little bit. He'll speed that up on you, even though that came in the low 70s.
Correct.
So he'll get you in a guessing game out there.
That's all body control too, and it's just not that easy to do.
And Pena is out on strikes to retire the side. So the Rays come up with a run, leave 2, and at the end of 7 innings, it's 7-4 Boston. 7-4 as we go to the 8th inning here. The Rays trailing the Boston Red Sox. Right now, let's check in with Barry.
All right, Dwayne, thanks. Out here in left field, one of the great spots to watch the game from. Nice little picnic area out here, soft grass for the fans to hang out. You know, Matt Moore made the start today. Not one of his more memorable starts, but before the game I was talking to Joe Madden, and he was just heaping big-time praise on Matt Moore. Keep in mind how long Madden's been in baseball. He says that he has never seen a young pitcher with a combination of skills that Matt Moore has, given his mental makeup, his general talent, and his understanding of the game. Moore, I talked to him earlier this week, and he said his two pitchers that he watched most growing up were John Smoltz and Andy Pettitte. Very telling there. Both those guys, you know, not only very talented pitchers, but cerebral guys who thought their way through ball games as beautifully as any pitchers in baseball. And interesting to note, Pettitte now coming back, so you might see a Matt Moore, Andy Pettitte matchup coming up in, I don't know, just a couple of weeks in April.
Yeah, Andy Pettitte signed a minor league deal with the Yankees, and they're going to try to bring him along and see when he'll be ready. So that'll be interesting. Well, Josh Lukey is the new pitcher. The Rays have made a number of wholesale changes as well, and we'll get to those in just a moment. Lukey, meanwhile, is pitcher number 5. He follows Moore, Sanchez, Farnsworth, and Ramos up there. Brad Kuhn is now in the game in right field. Salazar in left here in the 8th inning. And the pitch is a strike. 2-2. Mangini is now at first base. It's Rhymes at second. And a swing and a miss. Kroger out on strikes, missing the split finger pitch. Elliott Johnson is now at shortstop. Now here's Gomez, the first baseman. Chris Jimenez is the third baseman. And the pitch is upstairs, 1-0. So Lukey out here facing his second hitter. He struck out Kroger swinging. Gomez with a count of 1-0. That's a strike around the knees. Lukey with a strong arm. Two balls and a strike. Big cut right there by Gomez as he fouls it. So Lukey in the mix in the battle for a right-hander's spot in the bullpen. Count still 2-2. So he's in that 93 plus area with the velocity on the fastball. Though that's split a lot, we've already seen a couple of those. Count holds at 2-2.
Yeah, he's got a very live arm, the kid Lukey, and showed some promise last year with Seattle in the short times that he was there. And he adds to this right-handed quasi dilemma we were alluding to earlier about the bullpen.
And Gomez tied up a bit on that one and skies it to left. Salazar makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th.
Attention, fans. Play checking for Boston, number 90, Ronald Bermudez.
It's going to make it for an interesting trade deadline, I think, with all the guys that we got.
That's right.
For whatever some team needs and we need.
And now here's Bermudez hitting for the first time. He took over in center field in the 7th inning. And he chops it to Elliott Johnson at shortstop. He's thrown to first in time, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. We'll head into the bottom of the 8th. It's 7-4 Boston. Ball game. The Rays with a couple shots left coming into bat here in the bottom of the 8th. Reminder, you can get suited up for spring training at the official online shop of the Rays, featuring the largest selection of authentic spring training gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and a lot more. Get set for spring training at the official source, the RaysBaseball.com shop. Elliott Johnson will open the inning for the Rays here in his first at bat. He's facing Padilla. The pitch is a strike.
And EJ here, Elliott is kind of caught in the middle here in the spring training this year with the addition of Keppinger. And obviously we got Sean Rodriguez and Brignac fighting for a spot. He's kind of the odd man out, I think, as far as sticking with the club, in my opinion. I mean, I welcome yours, but I think he's in a tough position. When last year he was the MVP of the spring training.
Yeah, and it's the same situation with that as it is with left-handers in the bullpen, with right-handers in the bullpen, with starting pitchers, and just not enough spots to accommodate all the talent that's here.
The backup catchers.
Yeah.
And this kid's got talent, too. He's a good little player.
A 1-2 count to Elliott Johnson.
This kid's warming up in the bullpen right here. This is
yeah. Apparently they brought a guy in from the minor leagues, from the minor league camp.
Borowski. This is a new kid.
Yeah, that's it.
He's
Stan's son.
Stan's son, the bullpen coach, Stan Borowski. But he's warming up and he's
ready. And it doesn't take him long to get loose either.
No. No, but put it this way: if you look at his face again, if you see him, he's actually looks older than Hellickson. So
that's right. That's right.
Because Hellboy there looks like he's 12.
Yep.
And strikes you out like he's 35. You know what I mean? I love watching Hellickson pitch.
Well, here's Feliciano.
They got him.
Yeah.
He's ready.
You know, when you're that age, you're loose all the time.
Takes
I mean, you take one pitch, you're ready to go into the game.
Coming in the game.
Yep.
Let's go. I know, because I've done those Little League World Series over there, and the coach will come out and he'll like look, and he asks the center fielder, he goes, "Okay, I'm good. Give me one throw, I'm in there."
Yeah, when you're that age, you stay loose. So you've been jumping off the couch, you've been rolling around, you're loose. Ground ball to first, unassisted. Feliciano is out number 2. Gomez handled that. Well, here is Jose Lobaton now, getting his first plate appearance of the day.
Here's another guy that came into camp in better shape, too. I like that. He looks physically more fit than he ended the season last year. So these guys really asserted themselves this winter, a lot of them. So they're in real good shape.
Competition as a way of doing that. A floater in there for a strike. And he floats it again, and it skipped past Dent. Well, you can see Lobaton almost do a double take at that before making contact and skipping it by the third baseman.
He actually did. This was like reminded me of some beer league softball going on right here. It was like walk up into that pitch. I'm glad somebody leaned into one, to show, Padilla that, hey, we're going to swing at this. All right, you're going to bring this in. All right, give us a moment, and we're going to figure it out.
Now here's Jeff Salazar. Fouls a fastball back, strike 1.
I guess that maybe Vicente's thinking, well, there's no longer any Tim Wakefield in anywhere in the roster for Boston. So somebody has to throw something funky that floats up there. What a career that guy had, 19 years.
Oh, a long drive down the right side, but he pulled it foul. That had some distance, but it was well foul.
Sure did. The ball's still rolling out there. I think that might have hit your car there, Dwayne. I don't know. I'm just, just saying.
Yep. Two strikes, here it is.
Spring training is the only time that you can actually say that in a broadcast. Think about it. Because in the Major League area, I don't know, unless it's just not going to happen, but especially not at the Trop.
Runner at first is Lobaton. Pitch is upstairs, 2-2. Well, Padilla trying to establish that he's healthy. He looks healthy.
They said
he zip on that fastball.
Bobby was excited about him before the game. He said, "I'm going to have to ask who he's throwing." He's a little pleased with Padilla.
And a swing and a miss past Salazar up. And so the Rays get a hit but leave a man. Rays have had 11 hits today, but they trail 7-4. Grapefruit League Baseball, Spring Training 2012, just about at the midpoint of the spring here. The Rays and the Red Sox moving into the ninth with Boston leading 7-4. The Rays have trailed throughout the day, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 4-1, 6-1, 7-1. It's then 7-3, now 7-4. Nate Spears, who started the day at third, now playing right field, will lead it off. And Josh Lukey out there to start his second inning of work for the Rays. Lukey had a 1-2-3-8. And a bunt down that third base side, and it will be gloved. No play. Jimenez had no place to go with that one, and Spears has his second hit.
That was textbook right there. That was beautiful. Kid right down the line, and Jimenez was really had no play. He just either let it roll, and he was sure it was going to go inside of the bag, so might as well pick it up, because all of a sudden the kid ended up with a double or something. But yeah, it was not going to go foul.
Daniel Nava is now the hitter. Over to first. Spears back in. Nava took over in left field in the sixth inning.
And this kid can hit a little bit. Remember him in 10?
Yep.
When they had all those injuries, and the kid Nava had to come up and play a lot, and he was really a surprise. I mean, he was a guy that they picked up from an independent league and made it all the way to the big league. So he's one of those guys that they do applaud that would stick to it.
Upstairs, it's 2-0.
Didn't make his college team. In fact, for a little while,
Yeah, that's right.
Remember, he was the equipment guy, and then finally got a chance. And can you imagine that?
2-1.
Can you imagine that? You were the equipment guy like your freshman, sophomore year. Then you finally get, and then you get all the way back. You get up to Boston and Fenway in 2010, and all those guys you played college ball with, they're going, "Excuse me?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What? This Nava? See, yes, me. Here I am."
Back in at first is Spears. Yeah, he played for the Chico Outlaws in the Golden Baseball League. Runner takes off, and the throw is not in time. It skipped in, and Spears got to the back side of the bag away from an attempted tag.
Thought he got him there, but you're right. I think that backside slide. You're going to see it. He picks it nicely. Does. Yeah, that's exactly right. He just slid away from the tag because the ball got there before him. EJ had it before the kid started sliding.
And the pitch blocked for ball 3. So a bunt single by Spears, and now steal.
And you know, baseball might be the only sport at the major league level that you can do something like this. You know, that you could be so suspect at the college level and at the minor league level and just stick with it, and then maybe get that one chance if you have that one thing that you do well, left-handed reliever, or, you know, good little crafty outfielder who can put the ball in play. A team of necessity. The big skill sports.
Cut and a miss. He's out on strikes.
Took off a lot on that pitch right there. But the big skill sports like football, basketball, I mean, the Jeremy Lin thing is an anomaly, but still, this kid was a star at Harvard. The beauty of baseball.
Now here's the second baseman, Mike Meneses, and he's going to bunt and misses. Strike one. He entered the game in the bottom of the 8th at second. And Siriaco move over to shortstop. It's a ball and a strike. The fastball just missed.
Like what we're seeing from the big right-hander here, Luka. He's around the zone a lot. I mean, that bunt single. The other inning was 1, 2, 3, and he's mixing in the splitter and fastball slider.
That's a strike around the knees. 1 and 2. Rays with 11 hits. Boston now with 7. Two and 2. Siriaco is on deck. Full count now. And that is strike 3 call. Well, he's not afraid to put a little bend in it with the count full.
He broke down right there. It looked like a splitter, or that was either a changeup or a splitter. That thing had some movement.
I think that's his split, and he threw it 3-2.
That was impressive. That shows a lot of confidence in his pitches. I'm liking this kid a lot. He's a fastball, splitter, and a little slider that he throws. Yeah, he's setting up the splitter right there.
Here's Siriaco. Lifting a pop foul up the right side. Out of play for a strike.
He's one of those guys that always sets up the splitter, goes into the glove, and he might come off it, but he's ready to throw it. Yeah, there it is.
And a little looper into right center field. Couple of hops out to Kuhn. The run's going to score. Siriaco drives in a run, and the Red Sox score their 8th of the day.
That's the little kid, Pedro Siriaco, that Bobby Valentine was talking to me about, that he really liked what he's done this spring. And he's hoping to maybe try to find a spot for the kid, but fastball down, and he hammered it.
Here's Ryan Dent batting for the second time in the game. He lines one, a fastball right back through the middle. So Dent didn't waste any time swinging the bat.
Catcher number 81, Daniel Butler.
So the bunt hit that started this inning has been converted into a run. Here's the catcher, Daniel Butler, batting again. One ball, no strikes. Two and 0.
Trying to go away from that fastball that back-to-back fastball. He got hit hard, so he went back-to-back splitters, but set himself up now for a fastball throwing situation.
And he fouls it away. 2-1. Moore charged with 4 runs today. Sanchez 2. Farnsworth worked 1 inning of scoreless baseball. Ramos charged with a run, and now Lukey with a run. Runners take off. The pitch is a strike throw to the trail runner at second, and he is out of there to retire the side. 2-4 on the caught stealing. Red Sox add a run. We go to the bottom of the 9th, and it's 8-4 Boston. They're down to the Red Sox 8-4. They'll be facing Vicente Padilla, who already has 2 innings of work under his belt. Well, the Rays are going to have the top side of their order coming up. In all Boston in the run department, the Rays have still out-hit the Red Sox 11-9, but the Red Sox have led since the first inning home run by Cody Ross. Chris Jimenez is going to lead it off for the Rays here in the 9th inning.
And Vicente Padilla is still out there. They're definitely stretching him out a little bit, and the thought pattern here with him is he makes his team. He is trying to make it as one of the 5 starters anyway, so makes sense to stretch him out.
Pitch is inside as Jimenez checks on it. 1-0. Stephen Vogt is on deck. Luke Scott originally occupied the DH position in the lineup. Ground ball, that's foul, just outside the bag. So the count is 1-1.
Get a chance to see Stephen Vogt, which I think a lot of people might enjoy. Don't know too much about this kid on deck. Got some pop, and whether we see him crack the 25-man roster, I think there's a good chance that even if he doesn't, that we may be seeing him sometime during the season.
It would not be a surprise at all. And if he had a little more catching under his belt, he might be the guy with the inside track on that spot right now. Jimenez lifts a popper into right center. It will be caught by Spears and right. And that will be out number 1 in the bottom of the 9th inning. There's Stephen Vogt. Vogt stands in there as if he has power, and he does.
Yeah, he's got a good, strong, balanced stance, and he looks, as the old word is, hitterish.
1-0 pitch is skied toward right center. Bermudez coming in from right and out from second. Meneses takes care of that one. He had a long run to make from second base, but caught it.
Well, as those three guys were coming in, and that ball had a little bit of a problem there, and the one guy's named Bermudez, I mean, I think it fits that it was the Bermudez Triangle. The game's almost over. I had to throw that one in.
There you go. Yeah. Well, and a guy named Bermudez was smart enough to let somebody else
get it, right? I'm the problematic one here. I'm the one with the name. But those can be actually a very tricky play, where you've seen many a second baseman and an outfielder collide. You know, if you're not communicating well. Usually it's not the ones that are that high, but the ones that are in between height.
Brad Kuhn up here, and he fouls it out of play. He's down in the count, 2 strikes.
Real nice job by Vicente Padilla, I got to admit.
Well, you can see why the Red Sox are happy with the way he's been pitching. If what they've seen is the way he's thrown the ball today.
He's worked both sides of the plate real well. Thrown in that little ephus pitch that obviously is here to stay. It's something he's going to implement in his repertoire with his sinker slider.
And a little soft liner and a base hit. A little breaking ball that's sort of spinning up there of some sort. Kuhn keeps the game alive. Now Matt Mangini will bat with Kuhn at first base.
Yeah, that was it again. It didn't have as much loop to it, but it was the change-up curveball. You know who threw that to him? I'm sure you remember. It was Bob Tewksbury.
Yeah, boy, Tewksbury, he could throw.
He used it well. I played with and against Tewks.
Mangini shoots it off the mitt of Gomez into shallow right center. Kuhn will go to third. So a couple of base hits here with 2 outs. And now Will Rhymes will get a chance to swing the bat.
Yeah, he had a chance at that, but give Mangini a base hit there.
And now Rhymes. Pena started the day in this spot in the order and had a base hit and a run scored. Rhymes fouls it away. Well, the Rays have now out-hit Boston 13-9, but the Red Sox lead by 4 with the Rays down to their final out.
And it seems like they always do something pesky in the 9th inning. They did that the other day in our telecast, and they tied the game up at 6. And Joe Madden has alluded to the fact that it's waited to the 9th a lot of times.
And down to second, uncontested goes Mangini. The pitch was down, and the count is 1-1. Liner into left. Nava is there to catch it, and this game is over. The Rays have dropped it 8-4 to the Boston Red Sox. They're going to strand 10 men today. And so the Rays fall to 4-10 on the spring, and Boston goes to 9-4. For the Rays, a couple of hits and 2 left in the 9th inning. And Joe Madden and the Rays will look forward to spiffier days than the final of this one.
spiffier days and a nice little off day tomorrow. But what I take away from this game actually is at least the bats did wake up a little bit. And you saw Evan Longoria go deep. Saw Pena get a good base hit against a lefty and 13 hits. So not as good an outing you wanted from Matt Moore, but at least the bats did wake up a little bit more than we'd seen this spring.
Yeah, and I think for Moore it was a matter of his second outing and getting over the 50-pitch mark and starting to extend his endurance a little bit. And so for the most part, the Rays have been very pleased with their pitching this year. Madden said he'd like to tighten up the defense a little bit more. It's been pretty good overall. And the offense, and as you point out, the bats did show some life here. And I think as they get into the second half of the spring schedule, we're likely to see more of that.
I think we are, and hopefully they're going to be peeking into that. Remember, now B.J. Upton will be coming back after this off day, and you guys can start seeing some action. We saw some good swings by DJ, and that second hole is going to be talked about a lot and how that's going to plan out the next couple of weeks as to who's going to fit that role. So I see the offense at least moving towards the right direction to April 6th.
So that'll do it for our coverage here this afternoon. For Orestes Destrada and Barry LeBrock, I'm Dwayne Statz. Great to have you with us. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast, if not the outcome. Next telecast comes your way Sunday against the Marlins. Final today, Boston 8, the Rays 4. This is a special presentation of Sun Sports. From Charlotte County, so long, everyone.